Hello everyone, welcome to BISP Solutions. My name is Payal Makichani, your host for the evening, and today we're gonna start with our calculation manager. And today is our first webinar where we're gonna learn about calculation manager basics, right? So let's start with calculation manager. Let me first give you a brief introduction about Calculation Manager. Use Oracle Hyperion Calculation Manager to create, validate, deploy, and launch calculations that solve business problems. You can create the following type of objects in your calculations. First one is rule, second is rule sets, third is components and templates. You can see in this screenshot presented here uh, all the objects, right? So first one is rules are the objects containing components, templates and other rules, whereas rule sets are objects containing two or more business rules that can be calculated simultaneously or sequentially. Components are the objects containing formulas, scripts, conditions, member, and data ranges, fixed loops, and design time prompts. Components are not deployable. The fourth one is templates. Templates objects that you can use in business rule to perform a calculation or a set of calculations. Services that uses calculation managers are Enterprise Planning and Budgeting Cloud, and Financial Consolidation and Close Cloud. Viewing objects in Calculation Manager. Let me take you to the application first. This is our vision application where uh, we will click onto the navigator, and under create and manage click on to rules. When you click on to rules, here you have a system view, which is a default view, under which we have a custom view, deployment view and filter view. Let's see what does it means. So system view is a default view displayed when you launch calculation manager. It lists all the application and objects to which you have access. Custom view create folders and add objects to the folders to create a view that is meaningful to you. Third one is deployment view. It lists by application type and application the rules and the rule sets that are deployable and their deployment and validation status. You can select what rules and rule sets to make deployable and then deploy the objects to application. Fourth one is filter view. Filter the objects that are displayed. Next, designing of the business rules. Oracle Hyperion Calculation Manager enables you to create, validate, deploy, and administer a sophisticated multidimensional business rule. You typically create business rules to allocate costs among entities, model revenues, model expenses, prepare a balance sheet, calculate a cash flow, calculate currency translation adjustments, calculate group and minority interest, calculate deferred taxes, and many more. So, here we will learn about all the business rules one by one, right? So for starting with the business rule, first you have to understand what fixed statement is. So use of fixed statement are used to focus the business rule, keep the number of blocks being calculated as low as possible to ensure that you only calculate the required blocks. A fixed statement is recommended for sparse dimension because it reduces the number of blocks that are required for the calculation, ensures that calculations are done on level 0 of all dimensions if the application design has a bottom-up version setup. Where possible, use outer if statement on sparse dimension and inner if statement on dense dimension. All fixed statements should include members from all dimensions other than those within the calculation. If a dimension is excluded, all members from that dimensions are included. This may be unnecessary, right? So first, let's do the basic example. So let's uh, get started with a basic example of calculation manager. Let's take example. Here I have a revenue of hardwares, right? And we need to calculate sales tax, right? This is my question. So this is my member name revenue, right? If my revenue is suppose 1 lakh rupees and my sales tax percentage is 10%, so how will we calculate sales tax amount? What would be the formula to calculate sales tax? So revenue of hardwares into 10% would give us 10,000. This would be a sales tax in amount, right? Yeah. So how will we calculate this simple example through business rule? Now we will see that. So go to your application. As I told you how we will go to our rules. This kind of page shall appear where you click on to EPM Cloud Vision. And now you can see every cube you have in your own application, like plan 1, plan 2, plan 3, and so on. So after like I have to create my business rule in Q plan 1. So I will click on to rules, and I will right click on the rules, and I have a few action menus. Here I'll click on to new, calc manager basics. Let me write sales tax. Okay. Okay. When you click onto uh, okay, you get such sort of a page where you have uh, new objects like formula, scripts, condition, member block, member range, fixed loop, and all and existing objects. And you can create business rule through two methods, by designer method or script method. When you use designer method, you can just drag and drop any object from any from the left hand side of the page in between beginning to end, and you create the business rule. But this is a very very slow process, so I put it is not widely used. So first we will learn about script mode, and to learn about script mode we will first click on edit script. While we click on edit script, we get two things in our box, that is fixed base data and nfix. Base data uh, is already fixed because we are working with the because our application has the HSP view. So base data is already fixed, right? So first let's go to our application and check the the members we need, right? First we need the revenue. So in income, profit and loss statement, we have gross profit, total revenue. See, I have total revenue. Um, I can calculate sales tax from total revenue, or for the particular type of revenue, that is hardware support, consulting, training. So let's do for the hardware. Like hardware has the member name 4110. Let's mention that in our own Excel sheet. And sales tax, let's find if we have sales tax. We don't have sales tax, so I will go to 7800. No, we have GP, cost operating expense. We have total here we have 7900 of income tax, so 79102230. Here I'll make a sibling of 7930, that is 7940, so which will stand for our sales tax, right? Store currency and save. Refresh the database. Okay, move on to our script mode tab. Fix. Let's fix all the dimensions we are working with. Here I want to entity. Here I am fixing entity 110. So mention in double inverted comma 110, then comma. Let's go to other one. HSP view is already fixed. Period. What period I want to calculate for? Quarter one, quarter two. I am not fixing my period. Product. Suppose let's take P1110. P1110 product. Then scenario. Let's do it with plan. Working version, right? And then year, financial year 2024 would be the planning year. So I fixed uh, my dimensions, and we will complete it with nfix. Here we will mention our formula. So what is our formula? Our formula is sales tax equals to sales tax. We created 7940, right? So in double inverted comma 7940 equals to 4110 into 0.10. 10% is our sales tax percentage. I am fixing this in my business rule. So after doing this, put semicolon, which ensures the end of the formula and validate the rule. The rule has been validated with no errors. So deploy the same. Okay. First save your biz. Let's do it again. Save and validate again. Okay. And deploy. The deployment was successful. Now launch your business rule. You have successfully launched your business rule with no errors. Right? Now let's test this with examples. Account HSP view was our base data. Scenario, plan, version, working, product P110, entity was 110, period was Jan. I didn't fix the period, so I can take any period. Year was financial year 24, right? Refresh the sheet. Account. Let's mention the account we are looking for. 4110, 4110, and 7940, 7940. Okay, so let's give as per our example. As our example says, the revenue of the hardware was 1 lakh. So let's give hardware revenue as 1 lakh and submit data. After submitting data, calculate business rule. Unselect all the cubes as we are working with plan 1, and here we will choose sales tax and launch. The business rule has been launched successfully. Okay, and then close and refresh. We will get a sales tax at 10,000 like we calculated in our example. So this is how business rule works. This was the basic business rule where I told you about fixed statements. Now let's learn about if statements. So when do we use if statement? If statements can be used in member formula and fixed cannot. If statements should be used within fixed statement to reduce the number of blocks that are to be assessed. The if statement brings all blocks within the fix into memory. Where possible, use outer fixed statements on sparse dimension and inner if statements on dense dimensions. Use else instead of a combination of not and else if where possible to avoid unnecessary analysis of member values during the calculation. Do not use an else statement if it is not required. Review the calc member block choice to determine if you can use a sparse member without dynamic calc dependencies, right? So let's take the same example where I will be calculating sales tax, but I will be incorporating if statement same um, in the same business rule. So let's first delete the entity. No, let's for product, right? Because I am if if we'll use if statement, and here I'll use at the rate is member. Let me tell you what IsMember means. The IsMember calculation function for the S-base test whether a member is a match for any of the specified members. This function returns true if the current member being calculated matches any one of the specified members within the list or range. The syntax used for IsMember is member name or range list or member list. Here in our formula, we will be using member name for the simplicity and for the for learning the basics of calculation manager. In coming videos, we will learn how we use range list, member list, uh, respectively. So what we will do is member bracket open, and we will give the member 110. Then we have tab. We will use Endif. So this is how, like, the this business rule says that fix base data, fix all the I have fixed my entity, my scenario, my version, and my year, and I have said 7940. If is member is product 1110, then 7940 is equals to 4110 into 10%. Right, so let's see how does it how does it impact our smart view. First, let's validate our formula. Save and validate. Our rule has been validated with no error, right? Deploy, launch. So here I have, so this is how end if is used. Here let's give our hardware is 5 lakh. Then calculate the business rule sales tax. Using if statement, if and else if, we can calculate different sales tax for different kind of revenues. I will show you. Sorry, 5 lakhs. So see, 5 lakh, 10% is our sales tax. So percentage. So our sales tax would be 5 lakh into 10%. That is 50,000. Submit data and then launch business rules. See, my sales tax is 50,000 as I gave the example before. Now, let's use else if here, and I'll tell you how does it work. Else, we can give okay. So here what I did is, if my member is P110, like product 110, then it would be 10%. My sales tax would be 10%. If my product is other than 110, then my sales tax would be 12%. Right? Let's save and validate. Here I haven't used Endif. So do not do this mistake. Now validated and with no errors. Deploy. Now I'll show you by changing the product. All right. So first we'll go to our smart view. Here my product is 1110, right? So if I will launch, let me put example here. If my, okay, revenue, right? Tax percentage and sales tax. If my product here, product is 110, then my tax percent would be 10%, and suppose my 210, right? So here it would be 12%. Whatever revenue I take, let's take the revenue of 1 lakh for the simplicity of calculation. Similarly, I'll take 1 lakh into 10 as well. Let's calculate sales tax into 10%. 12th. The answer of P110 should come as 10,000 and P210 should come as 12,000. So let's see. 1 lakh. Submit data. Right? Here I'll take hashtag missing. Submit data. Right? Now calculate business rule. Okay, close, refresh. So here my sales tax is 10,000. Right? Now let's choose some another product. Suppose let's take keyboard as our next product. Refresh. And if I again give hardwares of keyboard 1 lakh, submit data and calculate business rule through smart view, I have sales text launch. Okay, close, refresh. So it would come as 12,000. This was the same example I gave you before and it proves, right? So let's move on further. So here we talked about if statements. Now, third one, we will talk about attribute function. Now, what is attribute function? The attribute at the rate attribute calculation functions for S-based return-based members associated with an attribute. This function lists all base members that are associated with a specified attribute member ATT name, and this function can be used as a parameter of another function where that parameter is a member or list of members. So how do we use that? What's the syntax of attribute? At the rate attribute is at the rate attribute and the attribute member name in under under bracket. So how we will use that? Let's see. Let's go on to our business rule system view and let's calculate another business rule. We can also create business rule through clicking onto new objects. EPM cloud, application vision, cube name plan one, object type rule set, rule and name. What name I have to give? Let's use calc attribute function, right? I give this name plan 1, object type rule, function. Okay. For this, let's first define our attributes. Let's move on to our application and click onto entity. When we click onto entity and see what attribute dimensions we have attribute dimension as market size, that is large market, medium market, and small market. If I want to calculate salaries for all the large market area, so how do we calculate that? We will learn this. So first close, and this is the vision application, so we don't have uh, already set attribute dimension, so we will need to uh, bifurcate the same. And suppose in member 1110, right, we will click on to edit mode, attribute values. Here we have not assigned attribute value, so we will assign 1110 as large market, suppose. Okay, save. Then 1111 as small market, maybe. Let's take it as a medium market. Save. 112 as large, small market. Sorry. Save. Similarly with 120, 130. So here I have assigned the attribute value to the members I will be calculating. All right. Save. Now let's create business rule to calculate the value for the large market. Okay. So here we will calculate salaries. Example. Let's take an example. Number 2. Here I have few entities, that is 100, 110, 111, 112, 113, and 114. All right. Here um, I have average salary of employee. Suppose 110, everybody has an average salary of 1 lakh rupees. I have taken 1 lakh for the simplicity of calculation. All right. And we have a head count of 10 in 110 entity, 12 in 111, 14 in 112, 16 in 113, and 18 in 114. So how will we calculate the salary, total salary? So total salary is calculated as 1 lakh into the number of head count to B, right? This is how salary is calculated. Okay. So huh. Now, suppose if some are large market here, some are small market, and some are medium market, and we want to calculate the salary only for the large market, how we will pursue. So let's see. See, here I have already created a business rule where I have fixed the base data, right? Fixed my product, that is 110. I have fixed my scenario plan, year, financial year, let's calculate for 24. I have created a version is working, and I have given my attribute function to the large market. Similarly, we can create for small market and medium market. And here 5800 stands for the salary, 9800 stands for average salary, and 9000 stands for headcount. So let's validate this formula, right? Save and validate. My rule has been validated with no errors and was saved. Deploy the same and launch. So this particular message shows that all my members were correct and all my formula is correct, right? Now let's move on to our smart view. Ad hoc analysis, clear sheets, and give us the POV. Okay, cancel. Here I will mention base data. I want account on, right, and year as financial year 24, period Jan. Entity I would take 100. Account here I would take 50. No, here I would take 9800 and 9000 and then 5800. Copy this, paste, scenario, plan, version, working, and product was 110, right? We didn't leave anything, and refresh. Click on 200. Change alias default. So we have all the entities right here. Now we want to calculate our salaries only for the large market. So let's give 1 lakh as average salary to each of the entities. Submit data, right? Give the headcount as 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. Submit data again. Now what I want to do, I want to calculate my business rule. So go to business rule and select all the cubes. Now we were calculating attribute function. So launch, okay, close, and refresh. Let's check our business rule, financial year 24, working plan P110. Let's refresh our application. Finish. Let's do it again. See, here I mentioned facility resources as my large market and machine resources as my large market. Rest all were either small market or a medium market. So while with my business rule, as I mentioned large market, so it calculated salary only for large market and not for any other market. This is how attribute dimension work. So today today we learn about three things. First, we learn about calculation manager basics. Secondly, we learn about basic calculations. And third, we learn about using attributes. So this was all for today. So this was all for today, and we will meet on our next video. We will meet in our next video. Till then, you can keep practicing. Thank you so much.